The group is responsible for carrying out several successful attacks on Muslims in the early 1980s, but then their mission turned far more sinister, hatching a plan to destroy the Dome of the Rock. Now, according to former agents of the Shin Bet, if they'd succeeded, it could have sparked nuclear war in the Middle East, perhaps, they say, even a new world war. A new documentary looks into where these men are now. The answer? Some members of the Jewish underground, long free from prison, are now in positions of power in the Israeli parliament.
Usually when you talk about, Jewish terrorists, you say they come from the side of the society, they are, outlaws. But these guys came from the heart of the settlement movement. And they were religious Zionists. One of them was a deputy battalion commander. Another one was an Air Force pilot. Another one was a journalist. Another one was a mayor of a small settlement or a vice mayor. I mean, right. They came from the mainstream. And when I looked at this team, I said, okay, there's something bigger here. And that's when I started digging in. And I'm talking about they should take off the Dome of the Rock because we need to gain back control over Temple Mount. And then later on, we can build the Jewish temple which stood there 2,000 years ago.
Our Prophet said, hadith is in Muslim Imam Ahmad, that most of his followers will be from the Yahud. We do not have this as an explicit mention, but they do. And that is that this will only happen when the Bani Israel are gathered in the Holy Land.
And of course he'll have to destroy the masjid to build the temple, otherwise they will not accept it. So there might be some convenient earthquake or something. And on that day, it's going to be terrible in the world.
That event is going to be very near now. Demolishing of Masjid al-Aqsa. It's not very far off. The enemies of Islam have tested the nerves of the Muslim Ummah by demolishing the mosque at Ayodhya. And very soon, they have to build their temple anyhow. Who can stop them? Is there any power on earth? So that is going to happen. And the worst of all that is going to happen is the appearance of al-Masih Dajjal.
And they insist that they have to knock it down and build their temple.
Our Prime Minister finally understood that access to the Temple Mount for Jews must be normalized. Our ultimate goal is to build the third temple. It's undoubtedly the reason why we came here for a pilgrimage. For the temple, we want to restore the building to perform new sacrifices, just like thousands of years ago. It's only the beginning. For the redemption to be complete, we must build the third temple here.
We're going to discuss the mountains of Israel. I want you to see from a bird's eye view exactly what Jerusalem looks like, because how many of you have heard of the Mount of Olives, Mount Moriah, and Mount Zion? But we don't really know where those are. We know they're in Israel somewhere, and they're all throughout the Bible, but until you actually see on a map kind of where these mountains are at, it's difficult to kind of figure out in your head where they're at. So here's how it worked. Number two, that is Mount Moriah. That is where the Temple Mount is. You can see the square Temple Mount. That is where the Temple Mount is in the center today, obviously, is the Dome of the Rock, which won't be there when the Messiah comes back, I promise.
So they're still waiting for the Messiah. But they say the Messiah will not come out until the Temple of Solomon is rebuilt. They have to rebuild it. And the state of Israel becomes established. And the word of God, meaning the religion of the Israelites, of the Torah, is practiced throughout the world.
They have these old city walls. Within the old city walls, they have a door which they made, in which the Old Testament makes a prediction that the truthful Messiah shall enter through that door. The Zionist Jews to this day and the Christian Zionists await for the Messiah to enter that door. Was covered by the Ottomans. So there was a door, an old city door. The Ottomans built a wall covering the door, saying that your prophecy will not occur. And not only this, what the Ottomans did, to this day, that door is covered. And there is a Muslim cemetery outside of the door.